Good morning again, everybody. And welcome again. So the precepts, if you want like general background on the precepts, what these are, there's another form of these precepts we often chant. There are a number of talks up on the website where I've gone through and talked about, over a period of several weeks, steps for each of these sets of precepts. Today, I just want to talk in very simple terms about why do we do this? What is this all about? In simple terms, it's because we want to be happy. It's really what this is about. It's just as simple as that. We want to be happy, and this is a way of being happy. It's simple, but maybe not easy, so I'll expand on that. But that's really what it's about. It's about wanting to be happy. So we're going to start at the first one, the 5 remembrances. I'm of nature to grow old. There's no way to escape growing old. I'm of nature to have ill health. No way to escape that. I'm of nature to die. There's no way to escape that. For those of you who've done your Buddhism 101, you'll recognize these are references to the last step of the 12-fold linked chain of dependent co-origination. Sickness, old age, and death. Old age and death, sorrow, pain, lamentation, grief, and despair. From birth, with birth as a cause, come sickness, come old age and death, sorrow, pain, grief, lamentation, and despair, and thus this whole mass of dukkha, suffering, arises. Thus it is said. So this is about recognizing that it is as a result of all of this pattern of getting stuck in this set of causes that we give rise to our own suffering. If we step back a couple, the place where this lands most, clinging gives rise to becoming, gives rise to birth, gives rise to old age and death. Clinging. One of Buddha's disciples, when he was talking about this, he said, clinging is basically the problem. When we hold on to things, this stuff happens. I really like my tea. Don't touch my tea. I want it to stay at exactly this temperature. And I want to make sure there's 2 extra pots in the cups in the pot, so that when I'm done with it, we cling to stuff, and it's foolish. And from that comes all of our suffering. One of Buddha's disciples said to him one time, "So who clings?" And Buddha's response was, how did he say it? Not a proper question. That is not a proper question. I didn't say anybody clings. If I had, it would have been a proper question. What I said was from craving comes clinging. So there's nobody who clings. It's just, if you look at it, it's just this impulsive action to cling that happens. It's just this impulsive action to hold on. And by getting caught in this, we cause our suffering. This goes on. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change, impermanence, the truth of impermanence. It's true. And if that's true, we all know that's true. It's common sense. It's true. If that's true, then trying to hold on to anything can only cause suffering. Because if we try and hold on to it, we're holding on to something like incense smoke. It's going to change. There's nothing to hold on to there. So if we hold on to it, it is going to cause us suffering. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. In the with the secret decoder ring, this becomes karma, right? This is what we're talking about, karma. But more fundamentally, without using the big words, it's basically this the truth of independence and this pattern of causation. We know that our life is all about cause and effect. We know that whenever we do something, there's a consequence. And this is about looking into that more deeply. My actions are my only true belongings. We have the opportunity every instant to make a choice in what we do. Yes, we acknowledged karma earlier. All my past and harmful karma born from beginningless greed, anger, and delusion. Right? I mean, this is the karma, this is the history of actions that come up to where we are right now. And that's interesting, and that's where we are, and that's what we have to work with. But what really matters is my actions are my only true belongings. I have a choice right now. I can decide what to do right now with what comes up in front of me. And I can decide in a way that's skillful and healthy and has a chance of making me happy and making other people happy. Or I can behave in a way that's not skillful and is not healthy and is going to do the opposite. The virtuous life, and that's really what we're talking about here, the virtuous life is simply about making wise choices. It's about recognizing right here, right now, if I hold on to my cup of tea, that's not smart. It's not going to make me happy. If I'm really grateful for Solomon for bringing this to me, have a sip and say, thank you very much. And then I put it down. That makes me happy. Makes Solomon happy as well. So there's another way of approaching the five remembrances. This comes from, it's actually next door. I've got the Pali text next door, but I don't have it with me. The verse goes in English. All living beings are the owners of their actions, heirs to their actions, born of their actions, live related to their actions, and are dependent on their actions. All of their actions. Whatever they do for good or for evil, to that will they fall heir. It's rather more long-winded. And it comes out of a sequence of chants that are the Brahma Viharas. The first one is kindness. May all beings be happy. May all living beings be happy. May all living beings be free from animosity, and so it goes on. We want everybody to be happy. Then we get into compassion. If people are suffering, we want their suffering to be relieved, which is another way of saying we want them to be happy. If people are happy, we want them to continue to be happy. This is sympathetic joy. This is the third of the Brahma Viharas. We want people's happiness to continue. We don't want to interfere in that. We don't want to be greedy and want that for ourselves. We're happy because other people are happy. This one is the fourth, which is equanimity, which is just simply, it's being able to stay there with whatever is coming along. It's being able to stay in a place of happiness with whatever happens. And it's acknowledging all living beings are the heirs, owners of their actions, heirs to their actions. So whatever they do is the same as this. Whatever we do, that's what we become. We live in related by their actions. Their actions affect other people. They're related to the world by their actions. Whatever they do for good or for evil. Translations people may not like, but they're pointed at positive actions, healthy actions, and negative actions, harmful actions, right? Whatever we do, to that we fall heir. Again, right now, what do we want to do? So if we get to the precepts, I vow to make every effort to embody non-violence and non-harming. I'm just going to skim through them to get a flavor, but this is why it matters. If I harm somebody, I am causing suffering. I'm causing a loss of happiness. Why would I want anybody to not be happy? Why could I conceivably not want other people to be happy? Even people I think are antagonistic to me and to things that maybe I believe in. Why would I not want them to be happy? Surely they're going to do less, even as a practical matter, they're going to do less harm in the world as I see it if they're happy. Most people do bad things because they're not happy. Fundamentally, why would I not want them to be happy? And if I'm around something that's not happiness, that rubs off on me and makes me unhappy. So there's a very selfish element to all of these as well. I want other people to be happy because when I'm around happiness, I am more likely to be happy. I vow to make every effort to wake up to my true nature, to see clearly and to live in accordance with what is true. That's the truth of this, the 5 remembrances, right? That's the truth of dependent origination. That's the truth of what I think of as this solid, concrete thing called me that I'm trying to protect. And God bless us all, we're trying to make ourselves happy. We're just not very skillful about it because we think there's something here we've got to protect. And by protecting it, we create these layers of separation. And these layers of separation mean we can't really see clearly what's going on. We can't connect properly. We're holding on to something that's impermanent. I mean, this is going to die. It's impermanent. I'm holding on to something that is impermanent. So seeing, really waking up to my true nature is to wake up to the truth of these 5 remembrances. This is going to die. Just get over it and recognize suffering comes with it, and be at peace with that, and therefore move into love, compassion, kindness. I vow to make every effort to live and to be lived selflessly for the benefit of all beings. This is recognizing with profound compassion that the nature of our existence is we are fooled. We are fooled into thinking there's something here, something concrete, something solid, something permanent. And our greatest suffering is thinking something's permanent that's not permanent. My tea is a frivolous example, a simple one. This is the big one, right? Thinking this is permanent is a problem. So when we recognize that here, we recognize it there. Everybody's thought in the same problem. The reason for everybody's suffering, everything's suffering, is because they think they are something they are not. Oh my goodness, how tragic is that? How can we not want to move into that with love and compassion? And to work to help people be happy, and therefore also help me be happy. And the rest of these, aware of the suffering caused by destruction of life, they start with an awareness of the suffering. I intake as a training precept, training recognizing we're not very good at this yet. We're doing our best, but we're not very good. And it's okay to make mistakes, but this is what we want to do. We want to relieve suffering. I undertake as a training precept not to kill. Is that so hard? Really? I mean, it's subjective, right? And I'm not going to pretend there's nuances and there's subtleties in there, because every time I breathe, I'm killing some microbes. Every time I eat, I have to be killing something to live. So it's not simple. But directionally, killing causes suffering. And it's not just the suffering out there, it's the suffering when I engage in that. I've heard tell that the worst thing you can do spiritually, the very worst thing, is to kill another human being. And the people who have killed for the first time, be they soldiers or gang members or whatever, people who killed for the first time are traumatized and terribly changed by the effect of that. It's just such a terrible thing to do here. So it sounds altruistic, but it is, and it's also very selfish. I want to be happy too. And the same is true for all of the others. Exploitation, stealing, and oppression. Most of the time we walk around with blinkers on and we don't see the exploitation, stealing, and oppression that we're engaged in. If we can start to see that, we can start to see the suffering that we are causing there and here, and behave more skillfully to not do that. Into inappropriate interpersonal relationships. So many harmful relationships are not intentionally harmful. Some of them are, and those are the easy ones in many ways, because just behave. But so many of them are not intentional. We grow up trained deeply from the earliest of ages by our family environment, and we can be trained in habits in relationship that we just perpetuate. And they can be very harmful in family relationships and in friendship relationships, very intimate relationships. So waking up, seeing this, seeing our tendency to do this, and trying to behave in a way that doesn't cause harm at them, and doesn't cause harm here, makes us both happy. Speech, consumption, the same. So the precepts, really, they're just when you step back and you look at it, they're just common sense. And literally every instant, I decide what I want to be, and I act in that way. I have the opportunity to decide what I want to be, and to start to be that right now. And if I don't take advantage of that moment, then my life can only be headed in a direction that leads to unhappiness. Because I'm allowing habit patterns and cravings and things that are not healthy to drive this boat. Every moment I have a choice of being, to decide what I want to be right now and to do it. And over time, all those little moments add up. We become happier, and people around us become happier. So that's why we do it. Let me push